Guys, it's Miss Coconut. How are you doing? I'm doing well. So, in honor of Election Day, I thought I would talk about the witches in the White House. Yeah, you heard it right. So, not only do the gentlemen of the White House have their own checkered past with the occult, so do some of the wives. I thought I would talk about that today. So we're going to look first at Jane Pierce. She was the wife of Franklin Pierce. She was known to be very obsessed with death and illness. Okay, and she would often discuss, dying and immortality. And she was coming out of that era where mourning was a ritual, so it wasn't unusual to be caught up in the fascination of death. Anyway, she lost her son very tragically right before her husband's inauguration. This was around 1853. They had been traveling by train, and the train derailed, and the car was overturned, and the 11-year-old child died, and she basically never recovered from that. And she felt so guilty and so grief-stricken. She did contact Leah, Margaret, and Kate Fox, okay? Because they were known as the Fox sisters, who were big in the spiritualism movement, and they were well-known occultists or mediums, and that they could speak to the spirit. So she did contact them so that they could assist her, and she would write these letters, okay, to her dead child. And then eventually it was said she made contact with the child, and she was able to get some sort of peace in the end. Next up is Mary Lincoln. Now, President Lincoln's wife, I don't know if this is the tipping point, because I noticed a trend here with death in the White House, but she did seek the services of a well-known spiritualist by the name of Nanny Colburn Maynard, because her son passed away, okay? And she wanted to hold a seance. And in fact, the president was there, okay? The president was at the seance. Now, some people say he was a spiritualist. Most of the presidents have been Christians, so all of this is so fascinating to me. And then they said after, of course, Abraham Lincoln was assassinated, she, meaning First Lady Mary, would definitely travel and meet with spiritualists to contact him. And they were saying she contacted this photographer. He was like a well-known photographer. And in the picture, you see the ghost of Abraham Lincoln standing behind her. But after he died, she did fall into deep depression, and she was committed to a asylum for the mentally insane, and she died penniless. It's very sad, but they said that she would hear voices in the walls, and that she had bipolar and schizophrenia. Is that like part of being able to see spirits? Some people do believe that it is a mental condition. But yeah, she would report that there were like evil spirits trying to get wires out of her eyes, and she had lots of premonitions. So she has a very fascinating story about her spiritual journey. The most stylish of the first ladies did partake in some sort of divination method. The fabulous Jackie O was known for her big, large, dark sunglasses and her I Ching and her runes, okay? She was very much caught up in the detailness of being able to decipher your day from these methods, and she felt this was a little bit more involved than like just a general astrologer, okay? I had no idea that she was into divination at all. Now, I'm not sure what led her down this path. It's not a whole lot of information on it that I could find readily, But one thing I did pick up is that because she has like Scottish Welsh ancestry is why she was drawn to the rune. So that does make sense there. Anyway, on to the next one. While she wasn't the only astrologer they ever used, she became the most famous of them all. And Joan Quigley was definitely the person that the Reagans consulted to make sure that every meeting, every debate, every speech, every activity almost was always done with the proper timing, meaning the right day, the most auspicious times, the hours, etc. Now, this was like one of those closely guarded secrets, so no one really knew that the astrologer was playing so much of a role in the timing of the day-to-day decision making. But it did get out because someone wrote about it. I always think when people tell these kind of things that are supposed to be secret, it's almost like they're being used to do some kind of humiliation ritual, because of course everyone started clowning the Reagans after that for using the astrologer. But supposedly she was on point and predicted many events that spared him a lot of heartache or bad decision making. So this was a very open secret. I remember growing up knowing all about the White House astrologer. Okay, so we know that Michelle Obama was a very popular first lady, but did you know that there is a story floating around that her social secretary at the time, definitely, the story is that she's a direct descendant of Voodoo Queen Marie Laveau. I know, can you believe it? I don't know how I be missing these stories when it happens, but somehow I do. I don't know if this rumor, I don't know if it's true. I don't know, y'all. But that is what they say. So Desiree Rogers is the former secretary for the president. And, you know, she definitely is a CEO in her own right. Very successful. But, yeah, that's the voodoo tie-in. But did you also know that the mother-in-law, that's right, Michelle's mom, was accused of practicing Santeria? Yeah. They said that when her husband became ill, she started seeking out the aid of these spiritual workers that practice Santeria, and that it was like a very hush-hush, closely kept secret because they didn't want it to get out, because obviously Obama also had that big church scandal with his former pastor. So it's a lot of convoluted situation going on here with these Obamas. And it's a lot more I could say, but I really don't want to go there. Just go down a rabbit hole yourself, okay? I'm certain you will find it fascinating and horrifying in some events. But I want to show you this cover because they say look at her doing the devil's horn, which I look at pictures of myself. I'm never making those gestures at all, ever. I take a lot of pictures of myself. May not post them all, but I can tell you I'm almost never doing that. That's such a weird symbol for me to do. I don't know why people do that. Anyway, I do know why, but you know what I'm saying. So definitely tell me what you think about that one. I thought that was very interesting backstory there. Mrs. Clinton gets the distinction of being labeled a witch and a shapeshifter, among other things. And if you really want to go down the rabbit hole with this one, you have to Google Haiti and really start to read and see what people have to say about her practices there. I don't want to get into it on this video because you know how YouTube do us when we start exposing too much, okay? But if you feel just like going down the rabbit hole today, this will probably be very mind-blowing for a lot of people. So it's election day, right? And I just kind of wanted to, pinpoint a little strange details that I have noticed about the White House over the course of history. So I don't know the outcome of this election. I know people are riled up. I know people are ready to go and people are fighting mad. And we just hopefully, sincerely pray that everyone stays safe, okay? And I will talk to y'all next time. And I have several links in my bio, so please click on them and find out what I'm up to on different channels and different businesses. Thank you for all your support. I appreciate y'all. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe and share. I am so excited to bring you a lot of these types of videos about conspiracies because they kind of make me happy to do them. So I'm going to share a lot more of these type of videos with y'all. Hope you're enjoying them so far. Okay, and I will talk to y'all later. As always, Om Shrim Brazi.